All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real stuff and doing it in real time for a few real people out here, just like you and just like me. All right, so REO Speedwagon Part 2. Yeah. Next year, folks, if you're an REO fan, especially if you like the classic REO, and I'm talking about the 70s, right? That's really the classic era for REO Speedwagon. I know, 1980, High Infidelity, amazing album, but I'm going to talk about what I think might happen with this band or brand next year. Before I do that, I want to promote this from Escape Music. The band is called Atlantic, and the album, Another World. If you like Foreigner, maybe 80s Yes music, Asia comes to mind a little bit with this. It's just good stuff. It's good melodic rock that nobody is paying attention to. So I figured I would just say, hey, go and listen to Atlantic. I don't think you're going to be too disappointed unless you don't like this style of music. All right. So again, Atlantic and Another World. Now, with REO, there could be another band that rises from the ashes here, unless, of course, Kevin Cronin abruptly changes his mind because money, money is a very powerful thing, and that's why I think the guys in Journey are still together. They're booking shows for next year. Crazy. I didn't think that would happen, but I was wrong. And I thought it was going to be more difficult as time goes on. And I still think something might happen with Journey next year. And I don't know for sure, but I'm just putting it out there. Now with REO, I believe they no longer are going to be a band with Kevin Cronin in the lineup starting on January 1st of 2025. Bruce Hall, who is talking a lot on his website, or at least over on Facebook, I should say, about just what his contributions have been to REO Speedwagon. He could be the catalyst for a new phase of REO. And it appears that Neil and Alan Gratzer, the old drummer, are likely supporters and may even play a role in a new version of the band. Now, again, I'm speculating here. I haven't heard anything specific. I'm just taking cues, much like I did when Kevin Cronin said, I think I want to work with different people. And then I reported and said, hey, it looks like the end of REO Speedwagon. And I did that a day before the announcement came down. It just didn't look good. It looked like Kevin wanted out, and he wants out. He and Bruce Hall apparently have some issues. They're saying that Bruce Hall looks too old to be in a rock band. That's funny coming from grandma with the granny glasses on and the white hair. I don't know. Look, I'm not one to judge at this stage of my life. Everybody I know who's my age is starting to look pretty old. So it's just going to get worse, not going to get better unless you're, I don't know, Rick Springfield. I mean, there are guys that seem to defy the aging process more so than others. Anyway, I'm thinking that this new band, which Neil and Alan and Bruce would be involved in, would return the band to its old time roots. And I'm talking like early 70s, mid 70s. And the only way they could probably take care of some of the stuff that Kevin wrote and performed is if they hired somebody to do that. Like they hired a singer, they went out and found a singer who could sound like Kevin in his prime. Like I'm talking about Kevin Cronin, 1977 Kevin Cronin, not 1985 Kevin or 1990 or even after that. Kevin's voice has gotten thinner and thinner over time. And as I've stated before, he doesn't have the most masculine sounding voice. And hence, this is why a lot of the old school REO fans prefer Mike Murphy or Terry Luttrell. I mean, go back and listen to Terry Luttrell or Mike Murphy for that matter. Both of them classic rock singers. I mean, that's classic rock. And I think there would be a market out there for a revamped version of this band that focused on older material. I mean, Styx essentially does that, right? Because they kicked Dennis to the curb, even though they've got a guy who replaced Dennis, and they perform most of the Dennis songs, minus a couple that they think are just too wimpy. You know, REO might go on the road and they might say, yeah, we're not doing Can't Fight This Feeling. We're just not doing it. We're going to give Keep On Loving You a little break, you know, and there are other ballads that I'm not sure REO currently does live from a couple of those later albums. I don't think they do those songs, but I'm thinking they stick to some of the more classic hard rocking songs, like Back on the Road Again, which is a Bruce song. Bruce co-wrote the song and sang lead vocals on it. A lot of people uh, forget about that. Also, the song Born to Love You from the band's last studio album called Find Your Own Way Home, also sung mostly by Bruce Hall. And then, of course, the classic of classics, Someone Tonight, off of High Infidelity, is also written and sung by Bruce. I did a little research, and I'm not 100% certain that Terry Luttrell would be up to being in REO Speedwagon again. I saw some footage of him from 2015, which is 9 years ago. So again, I don't know if these guys are able to be a part of, you know, a touring rock band again. But he looked like he was having a great time in 2015 singing 150 Side Riverside Avenue, which is, if you know REO, that goes way back, and it's one of the early FM radio REO classic songs. But it's unsure if a new version focusing on the older music would work. So, you know, I'm hopeful because I think this is the kind of thing that needs to happen. Number one, to educate fans on where this band came from. Also, there's always been division. I mean, there aren't a lot of people that reminisce about the older version of REO prior to Kevin Cronin, but there are some that still think that was the best version of REO Speedwagon. There are people, believe it or not a lot of them, that think the first three Journey albums were the best Journey albums because it wasn't sappy. There were no love ballads. It was just, raw, pure musicianship and guys who were showing off. And if you go back and listen to REO from those first 3 or 4 albums, you basically have the same formula. I mean, it's not as jazz fusion as Journey. It was more blues oriented and just straight up classic rock sounding stuff. So you never know. 2025 might be the year where, you know, the old REO Speedwagon comes back to life. And I think there would be a lot of fans that would be very interested in that. So I'll keep you up to date. I do have kind of an inside source now that is giving me information about this. And if anything happens, I'll let you know. Here's Atlantic and their album Another World. New material. In case you don't want to go back and listen to the old stuff. The thing is with REO, a lot of people, they don't know any of the stuff prior to High Infidelity. They know a few, like, you know, stuff from Tuna, as I like to call it. But they don't know that much prior to that. Yeah, Riding the Storm Out. They probably haven't heard the Mike Murphy version of that song, which I think is very good and may be superior to the Kevin Cronin version. I don't know, folks. It's too bad these guys couldn't work things out. Maybe this will be a blessing in disguise, or maybe this will just fizzle out and people will remember REO for whatever version, you know, that they liked the best. But we'll keep you posted if anything happens in 2025.